Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight to Environmental Health Coalition's annual awards celebration. There we go, thank you. Our theme tonight is United to Vote. My name is Joel Tremblay. I am a longtime supporter of EHC, a member of our Fund Development Committee, and I have the honor of being your MC this evening. Is everyone enjoying themselves so far?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome, everyone.
Buenas tardes.
Good evening. Okay, let's go ahead and start. Good evening and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight to support EHC. I'm Margaret Avalos Gottschalk, Environmental Health Coalition's Board President. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome everybody. Buenas tardes. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. My name is Enrique Medina and I'm honored to be the Vice President of the Environmental Health Coalition Board of Directors. Thank you. And on behalf of the board, I do want to thank all of you for coming here tonight and for helping us make our United to Vote annual celebration a big success. Thank you.
By being here tonight, you've stepped up to demonstrate your support for environmental justice and the importance of voter empowerment.
Yeah, that's right, Margaret. 2018 is a year like we've never seen before. Never before have we seen an administration that is building walls instead of bridges, that is doing environmental justice attacks, and that is really making it difficult for us to have control of our own bodies, or our own health, and not just that, but the health of our families, our cities, and our neighborhoods.
It's my honor tonight to thank one of our strongest supporters, Ash Israni. Where is Ash? I can't, there is Ash, and Pacifica Companies. Ash has really embraced EHC's mission, and we are thrilled to be able to say that he and Pacifica Companies have returned as our presenting sponsors for the 7th consecutive year. Thank you so much, Ash.
And along with Pacifica Companies, we would also like to take our promotores level sponsors, the IBEW Section 569.
Oh, for 569.
And the San Diego Airport Authority.
As well as our Activistas local sponsors. And here you see them now on the board. And all of the other contributors to our event tonight, shown here on our screen. And we couldn't do the work that we do without some of our strongest allies, including the San Diego LGBT Community Center, Center on Policy Initiatives, MAC, Community Housing Works, Planned Parenthood. Let me see what the rest of my list is, because I know I have a nice list here. Here we go. Sorry about that. City Heights CDC, California Environmental Justice Alliance, Alliance San Diego, ACE, Cesar Chavez Service Club, Mid-City Can, Sierra Club San Diego Chapter, Next Gen America, Center for Sustainable Energy, San Diego 350, and many others. Thank you so much to all of you.
We'd also like to acknowledge our elected and appointed officials and candidates here tonight. And I'm going to read a long list, so please hold your applause until the end. And when we call your name, if you could please stand. From the state of California, Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins. Assembly Member Todd Gloria. Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher. From the city of San Diego, Councilmember Barbara Bright. And Councilmember Chris Ward. David Alvarez. And Georgette Gomez. From the city of National City, Councilmember Mona Rios. And Councilmember Alejandra Sotelo Solis. Chula Vista, Councilmember Stephen Padilla. And City of Imperial Beach Mayor Pro Tem Mark West. All right, Mark. And from the Port of San Diego, Chairman Rafael Castellanos. And Port Commissioner Marshall Merrifield. And from the San Diego Unified School District, Superintendent Sandy Martin and President Kevin Beiser. And the San Diego Community College District, we have Board of Trustees President Dr. Maria Nieto Senor and Board Trustee Peter Stici. Also, we have Sweetwater Union School Board President Arturo Solis. And San Diego City Council candidates for the A District, Christian Ramirez and Vivian Moreno. And if there's any official here present that I didn't name, please accept our apologies, and we thank you for being here.
More than anything, we want you to have fun tonight. So as the event progresses, we are encouraging you to use the hashtag Unite to Vote as you upload your photos from the photo booth and from the party outside.
Okay, and I'm supposed to get a selfie with, okay. Great.
And somehow that's going to get up. I think Mia's going to help us with that.
Yeah, really.
Okay, and finally, as board members, we couldn't leave tonight without asking you to give. So we'd like to invite you, if you aren't already, we'd like to invite you to become part of EHC's Sustainability Circle, and that way we know that we have your support every step of the way, every month.
Yes, EHC has to plan its campaign strategy years in advance in order to fight for environmental justice. So monthly giving is really a critical part of that because it allows us to have consistency and predictability in our planning. We really appreciate that.
Yes, Enrique, that's right. So donating with a recurring monthly donation is really the best way to support us, to invest in our mission so that we know that you're with us every step of the way in our fight.
Now, all of you, I'm sure, are wearing your pins. I am EJ, yo soy EJ. Please wear it proudly. This is how we know that we're all together in this fight. So we hope to leave you energized tonight with a passion for the work that Environmental Health Coalition does and with renewed energy to keep supporting us.
And to give tonight, you have a remit envelope at your table next to your seat, and you can fill that in and hold it up, and one of our staff members will pick it up for you.
Great. Well, thanks, you all, for your support, and enjoy the program.
Thank you very much.
Please welcome Environmental Health Coalition's Executive Director, Diane Takvorian, to the stage.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. I can't see you all, really. These lights are really, but I know you're there. So I'm hearing you, and I'm thrilled that you're here. And I just turned to the wrong page, so how come that is? All right. So I would like to welcome you all. I wanted to thank Margaret and Enrique. I could not ask for better board officers than the two of them. But I also want to thank the rest of the board of the Environmental Health Coalition and the staff. These are the people who work every day, 24/7, to bring environmental justice to the San Diego-Tijuana region. So if I could ask you all to stand so that everyone can recognize you and give you a huge round of applause. You're the hardest working organizers and advocates in all of the world. So thank you so, so much. And you're all here tonight because you know that Environmental Health Coalition is an environmental justice organization, which means that we are dedicated to a safe and healthy place for everyone to live, work, and play. And we're not done until we've met that goal. And environmental justice is embedded in the fight for racial justice. We all know that if you want to find air pollution and children with lead poisoning, grab a map and look where people of color live, and that is where it's the worst, and that is not something we're proud of. That's something that we're fighting, that we're changing every day, because that's a circumstance that cannot continue to stand. We're dedicated to organizing and to raising the voices of those that are most impacted, the communities that are suffering the most, and many of you are very dedicated to that as well, and we thank you. I want to say that tonight we are united to vote, and we have some late-breaking news. How many of you knew that there was an election yesterday? There was an election yesterday, yes there was, in Barrio Logan, to elect the next community planning group for Barrio Logan. And I want to say that Environmental Health Coalition's slate of candidates took it. Every one of them won. And tonight we have Filomena, we have Klaus, and Panchito that are here, and I want them to stand. They are three of the slate members that were elected last night, and they are going to lead Barrio Logan to the next generation. A new vision for Barrio Logan. It's happening now. There's a new sheriff, and it's not a sheriff, but there are new folks in town, and they're going to, you know what. So we are thrilled that they won. So tonight's theme is United to Vote. Nearly 20 years ago, Environmental Health Coalition started our voter empowerment work to improve the culture of voting by reaching those voters that don't vote very often, infrequent voters. People of color are underrepresented at the polls. In San Diego, they represent 45% of the eligible voting age population, but they only represent 30% of the voters. We know that true equality can't be reached unless there is voter equity. So how do we get there? Environmental Health Coalition knew that our voter work had to be different. It had to be integrated with our organizing and advocacy work. EHC is in the community every single day, working on the issues that are important to each community and building trust. We aren't just out there during campaigns, we're out there every single day. So, volunteers, staff, and leaders are drawn from the community. The messenger is really more important than the message. So the folks that are out in the community every day talking with voters, they are trusted messengers, and it's working. In the precincts Environmental Health Coalition worked on in 2016, Voter turnout rates were 60% overall, but for the voters that EHC connected with, they were 79% voter turnout. Real leaders are growing up from the community. Just met some of them just now, the Barrio Logan people who are going to be on the planning group. So many more are growing up from the community because of these efforts. And I want to introduce you to two more leaders who are shining stars. Roddy Jerome and Maria Martinez, could you two please stand? Well, I don't know where you are. Okay, there's Roddy. Where's Maria? Oh, there she is. Okay, I can see you. Okay, keep standing. Roddy Jerome, we met Roddy Jerome during the 2012 elections when an EHC canvasser knocked on his door in City Heights. Before long, Roddy was coming to EHC community meetings, graduated from EHC Salta program, graduated from the the CPI, Boards, Commissions, and Leadership program, and he has been an effective leader and advocate for transportation justice and a spokesperson at the state level as at the local level as well. And he's now on the Environmental Health Coalition Board of Directors. Thank you, Roddy. And Maria Martinez, por favor. She's been an EHC leader for over 15 years. Maria lives in Barrio Logan, right next to polluting industries and freeways that cause one of her sons to have asthma. Maria joined EHC to fight for cleaner air in her community and has literally put her body on the line in front of heavy-duty diesel trucks to stop them from coming into her community and parking right next to her home. Maria was on the board of directors for 6 years, and she's been knocking on doors as an EHC promotora in many, many election cycles, even though she was not eligible to vote. This year, Maria will be talking to voters for the very first time as a new citizen and as a newly registered voter. Congratulations, Maria. Thank you, Maria. Wow, thank you for that response. She certainly deserves it. So we're here tonight to celebrate the grassroots leaders like Maria and Roddy and so many more who are in the neighborhoods every day, ensuring that residents and voters have information and that they're involved. But who are these community leaders speaking to? And who's listening to them? For a long time, we couldn't say there were many, but we know that that is changing. And I'm so thrilled tonight to stand with someone who's a true and unwavering ally in the fight for human rights. From affordable housing to environmental justice to protecting women in the workplace, our keynote speaker has championed legislation on those issues and so much more. I met Toni Atkins 20 years ago when she worked with Trailblazer Christine Kehoe in the San Diego City Council. And we've had the opportunity to work with her as a city council member, interim mayor, assembly member, assembly speaker, and now the Senate President pro tem. In every post, she has demonstrated her characteristic passion for getting things done and getting them done right. She executes smart and effective strategies to improve the quality of life for everyone in San Diego and now the entire state of California. Senator Atkins has been an environmental justice legislative champion with rock star scores from the California Environmental Justice Alliance scorecard for all 5 years, including perfect scores in 2015 and 2016. Toni is the first woman. Yes, she deserves applause for that. Toni is the first woman, the first openly LGBT person to lead the Senate. Yeah. It's just too much to applaud. You're never going to get up here. She becomes the first person since 1871 to have served both as leader of the Senate and Speaker of the Assembly. At a time when our communities are under assault, Toni Atkins is the right woman to lead our Senate, protecting our communities and creating a better future for all Californians. We could not be more fortunate to count Senate President Pro Tem Toni Atkins as Environmental Health Coalition's friend and ally. Please help me welcome her to the stage.
Well, thank you, everybody. Good evening. And thank you. I don't know, Diane, when you recognized a few of the people before I came up here, it's a little bit humbling because I think you're doing the real work on the ground. And I'm thrilled to be here with a number of my colleagues in the legislature and local government and people who are serving every single day to support this community. You know, I was thinking about EHC as I was on the flight home. Todd and I were on the flight together. And a couple of things hit me. It's 38 years, right, Diane? And you're really right, you can't see anybody up here. 38 years. About 35 years ago, I was a young college student in Southwest Virginia in Appalachia. And you might not think Appalachia has a lot of things in common with Barrio Logan or Sherman Heights or City Heights, the communities that you fight so hard here to represent. But when I went to college, I was one of those kids that grew up in a blue-collar, working-class, poor family. My parents worked incredibly hard. They worked harder than I've ever worked in my life. And yet they didn't make enough money to get us health care or a house with running water or those kinds of things. But the thing that I recall is when I finally made it to college, I managed to get to college, I was really pissed off. One, I didn't think the world was about me. I didn't think society was about me because clearly we couldn't work our way out of poverty, so there must be something wrong with us, right? That's what I had learned. And then I got to college and I was a political science major with a focus on community organizing. And I thought today about EHC because I thought, you know, EHC is really the personification of what I learned in my 4 years at college at Emory and Henry College in Southwest Virginia. Because what I learned there was in order not to be a victim and not to continue to be pissed off, that I had to learn to work with other people and that there were other people who grew up just like I had grown up, that had worked hard, their families had worked hard, and education was what they thought would help get their kids a better life. And the environmental issues we dealt with were the fact that we were from disadvantaged communities in the mountains in Appalachia, and somebody discovered coal in Appalachia. And then they proceeded to convince these people to sell their mineral rights, not their land, because that's really all they had, the land, and they cared about their land, but they could sell their mineral rights for pennies on the dollar. And the next thing you knew, there was coal seams being taken from the mountains in many states. And it led to the degradation of our water and bad water quality and bad water for communities. It led to sludge running into the streams, coal sludge. And it led to taking down trees. And finally, when they realized it was more efficient to strip mine and mountaintop, that means cut a whole top off of a mountain, which you can never mitigate and return to what it was. When they realized they could do that much quicker than having people like my dad go into the mines to dig coal, they started to do that, and those communities were never the same. And so what brought me to environmental justice was the issue of coal in communities and what it did to our communities and how our people were mistreated. And so what does that have to do with Barrio Logan? Well, Diane just talked about a woman who got active in her community because of the diesel trucks and the uses in the community that really took away from the beautifulness of a vibrant community and caused harm. You know, my dad, at the end of his life, he couldn't sleep lying down because he had so much fluid, and he would sleep sitting up, and he coughed a lot because he worked in the mines, the lead mines and the coal mines. And, you know, that never left me. And so when I came 3,000 miles to San Diego, in this beautiful, beautiful city, and got acquainted with some of the incredible neighborhoods, and got to work when I worked with Chris Kehoe in City Heights, some incredible communities, I thought, you know, our stories are not so different. Our stories are not so different. But what I learned in college was very important. It was how to work with communities. And I worked with rural communities where I grew up to help empower them so they could take on the government. They could be eligible for CDBG grants in rural communities and have some of that money go back to them. So that people in West Virginia will not be misled when you have a president that says, we will bring coal back. Coal is not coming back. It isn't market driven anymore. It's not even what the industry uses. So to lie to some really desperate people who have to choose between their health and jobs, which is about mining or producing coal, that's a really, really zero-sum game, and it's so wrong to do that to the people in a region who really just need economic opportunities and jobs, and they need not to put their health on the line every single day. We face those very things here, and so when I think about the Environmental Health Coalition and what you do, it is so critical. And you know, I want to recognize Diane, and I'm almost done because we have some incredible people to recognize here tonight. Some elected officials who are getting incredible recognition and awards that they deserve as Spirit of Justice awards. And these are colleagues who do work every single day for the same reasons, different communities, different stories, different upbringing, but with the same passion and commitment. And I want everybody to get to hear them and get their awards tonight. But I want to recognize Diane because, you know, she is one tenacious person. And you could almost not see her as she was, because she's short in stature but mighty when it comes to the work that needs to be done. And you know, sometimes in the work that we do, there should be allies that are with us that somehow end up not being with us when we think they should be. And it was an incredible honor when I was the speaker to be able to appoint Diane to the California Air Resources Board to represent the EJ communities up and down the state. And you know, you think it'd be done. Wouldn't you think it would be done then? She'd just go work her magic, tell them what they need to do, and they do it. Well, even a board that puts out regulations that everybody loves to hate the California Air Resources Board about as much as they love to hate the Coastal Commission. But at times, you know, they're looking out and doing regulations that are supposed to help on all these issues that we're talking about in terms of environmental issues in our communities and toxins. And sometimes they're not all that friendly, are they, Diane? But that's okay, because we have her back. We have her back here in San Diego because we know that the work that Diane is doing as a member of the California Air Resources Board is really about protecting millions of Californians, and setting really forward the guidelines that the rest of the country should follow. And we know that she will continue to do that. So I really want to give her the acknowledgement that she deserves for being willing to take on this task, because it is a very busy job in addition to running this organization with your incredible staff and your wonderful board of directors and your volunteers. The last thing I would say, and I think your board vice chairman made a comment about this current administration and everything they're trying to do to undo the work that we have all collectively worked, some of you for many years more than me, certainly, to make headway on such important issues, that we have an administration that is trying to undo that. And I know that we will not let that happen. But I'm going to end with one thing. There's a lot of partners that they put up on the board, and I hope you had a chance to look at all of the partners that work in collaboration with EHC to do all of the good work that we're able to do and then put forward at the state level, so people like Lorena and Todd and a number of us can work on those things with you. But what is coming up, and I love the emphasis on voting. The census is coming up. And right now, we have an administration that they do not want to count you. Let me be clear. I can't see you, but I know who's in this room, and they do not want to count you. And they do not want to count your children. And they don't want to count homeless people. And they definitely want to reduce the numbers in California. And so you're going to see the Assembly and the Senate get engaged. As part of our budget work, we will be putting money into how to prepare for the census, but we cannot do it without partners. And every group that you listed up there is a partner in the job to make sure that we count everyone and that everyone is going to feel safe so that we get our fair share of dollars back and we can continue to do the work that we need to do in California, because it is about health care and it is about access to food and it is about education. Every single thing that you in this room work towards for this community in San Diego and in California, that is our money, and we need to count, and I know that we will. We'll be bringing you more information about that. But lastly, I just want to say to three incredible women who are getting awards tonight, to Lorena Gonzalez-Fletcher, certainly to City Councilwoman Alejandra Sotelo Solis and Mona Rios. You are incredible leaders in this community, and I want to add my congratulations. They're getting the Spirit of Justice Awards, but there's also a number of other awards and great speakers. Mustafa Santiago Ali, California Environmental Justice Alliance, and Engage San Diego. Thank you so much. You deserve all of the recognition tonight. Thanks for letting me say a few words in celebration of an incredible organization, the Environmental Health Coalition, and certainly its fearless leader, Diane Tekvorian. Have a great night and enjoy the night.
Please welcome to the stage EHC's Associate Director of Organizing, Franco Garcia, to present EHC's Building Power Awards.
Good evening. Looking around here tonight, I'm reminded of kind of how lucky I am as the Organizing Director for Environmental Health Coalition, because I get to work with so many of you here in this room, from community residents like Maria and Roddy, on the ground doing a lot of that work, to people working on policy, and electeds. And I get to work with all of you as the organizing director, and I really enjoy that. And thank you all for being here tonight. And tonight I'm especially honored because I get to present these awards and talk about two of the groups that I get to work with the most. So as President Pro Tempore Atkins reminded us, California legislature currently is leading the nation on climate change and environmental justice. But the truth is, it hasn't always been this way. That's why 16 years ago, EHC partnered with leading environmental justice organizations in California to form the California Environmental Justice Alliance, or as we know it, CEJA. CEJA's leadership remains unsurpassed, lifting the movement to new heights to address climate change and air pollution, improve access to clean energy, and build healthy neighborhoods in California's low-income communities of color. Only in the last 2 years, over 20 bills that CEJA has supported or sponsored have been signed into law. And not only have these bills become the law of the land, but just as important, grassroots leaders from all over the state of California have been empowered to share their stories with lawmakers as an integral part of the lawmaking process. That's just as important and really exciting. CEJA's success is in no small way because of the dedicated and passionate staff of CEJA. Strela Servas, CEJA's statewide organizing director, has been leading CEJA for over 10 years and is here tonight to accept the award. So please join me in presenting EHC's Building Power Award to CEJA. Congratulations. Give CEJA another hand, everybody. So I mentioned that I'd be giving 2 awards tonight, and Engage San Diego is our next award recipient. So building power to win social and economic justice through integrated voter engagement, Engage San Diego unites communities to build a culture of voting. As San Diego's regional civic engagement network, Engage San Diego has increased voter contacts exponentially, growing from 2012, where there was 50,000 voter contacts, to this year where Engage will contact 200,000 voters. Leading Engage San Diego as the founding chair has been Dr. Dolores Jacobs, CEO of the San Diego LGBT Community Center, and she will be receiving this award. And as she comes up here to receive this award from somewhere in the room, we would also like to have the Engage partners who are here tonight, please stand at your seats and be recognized as we make our awards over there. So I want to name those organizations off. We have ACLU San Diego, Alliance San Diego, ACE, the Center on Policy Initiatives, the LGBT Community Center, Mid-City CAN, Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest, Partnership for the Advancement of New Americans, San Diego Organizing Project, and United Taxi Workers of San Diego. Thank you all. So a little bit more. Thank you. So in addition to congratulating Engage San Diego, EHC would also like to take this moment to especially recognize the leadership of Dr. Jacobs. Very soon, Dolores will be stepping down as the CEO of the LGBT Community Center, one of EHC's closest allies. So we would like to give you our heartfelt thanks for your commitment to our community. So join me again in presenting EHC's Building Power Award to Engage San Diego. Congratulations, and thank you, Dolores.
Please welcome City Councilwoman and EHC friend, Georgette Gomez. Georgette received EHC's Spirit of Justice Award in 2017, represents District 9 in San Diego, including City Heights, where she is leading the charge for affordable housing and transportation justice, and is the new chair of the Metropolitan Transit System.
Good evening. Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo estamos? ¿Nos estamos divirtiendo? ¿Sí? All right. Well, thank you so much for inviting me, EHC, to be part of this great celebration every day. Every day I carry the fight to ensure that we are advancing environmental justice in San Diego. So it's a great pleasure to be here tonight to present the awards, the EHC Spirit of Justice Awards, which is reserved for individuals that are not only exceptional leaders, but who respect and understand the importance of community voice. The next three awardees are extraordinary examples of leadership, informed by and respectful of our communities they come from. We are so fortunate to have these three strong women, representing the Year of the Woman, San Diego style, with perseverance, power, and class. Our first awardee is a champion for her community and for the region. She is a fourth-generation National City resident and a mother of 3 sons and 2 granddaughters. Her commitment to family has shaped her commitment to community. Mona's lifelong commitment to National City runs deep and compelled her to serve on the National City Council, where she was elected in 2010. Since then, she's dedicated herself to improving National City to be a place where families and businesses are proud to call home. During the last year, Mona stepped up to fight for transportation justice, not just for National City, but also for the region. She fought hard to pass the passage of AB 805 to lay the groundwork for the growth of equitable transportation system in transit dependency communities. Yes, let's applaud that. That was not an easy task. In 2018, Mona was elected with me to be vice chair of the Metropolitan Transportation System. It has been an honor working with Mona, and I look forward and continuing to be bold leaders to ensure that we're advancing environmental justice, specifically around transportation. Tonight, I am pleased to present EHC Spirit Award to City Council Mona Rios for her deep commitment to making transportation accessible, affordable, sustainable for all people, especially her neighborhoods in South Bay. Let's give it up to Council Mona Rios.
Thank you so very much. Thank you first to the Environmental Health Coalition. This is such a tremendous honor, and to be on stage with those before me, like Georgette Gomez, and with those that are here with me today. Thank you for all you do to amplify and lift up the voices of the most impacted communities in San Diego. And thank you for the leadership in the transportation justice movement. As the new vice chair of MTS, I'm honored to serve our region in this new capacity. I plan to continue to be a voice for environmental justice, communities where riding transit, walking, and biking as a means of transportation is very popular. Environmental justice communities have been leading the way to fight climate change. Yet we face the unfair burdens of climate change by being the most impacted by it. Environmental justice communities are the #1 customers of our transit agency, yet the historic investments we've made into our transit network haven't always reflected that. I will fight to center the needs so that people can get to school, work, and home efficiently, reliably, safely, and conveniently. I look forward to continuing to work with Chair Georgette Gomez, my fellow board members, and the community members to achieve that. When it comes to respecting and understanding the importance of community members and their voices, I am listening. Thank you.
Our next Spirit Award is also a lifelong National City resident. Councilmember Alejandra Sotelo Solis was the first elected to National City Council in 2008, and she's currently serving her 3rd term. Alejandra's commitment to community health and environmental justice is evident in many ways, but none greater than when she worked tirelessly to ensure passage and implementation of a historic West Side National City specific plan that protects communities' health and businesses. Touted as one of the most progressive plans in the country, the West Side Plan corrects decade-old incompatible land use and creates a mechanism to restore the residents and commercial character while reducing pollution. Her leadership on specific plan expanded to the entire city when National City became the first city in the state to adopt an environmental justice element in their general plan. That wasn't enough, as Alejandra became an advocate for the state bill that required environmental justice elements for all cities. It is my great pleasure to congratulate Councilmember Alejandra Sotelo Solis, also the next mayor of National City. Yes, and that was not in the speaking point. Our EHC Spirit of Justice Award. So let's give it up to Alejandra Sotelo Solis.
Wow, how humbling. And just so you know, it's me. Let me turn to the side. It's me. It is with a humble heart that I received this award. The EHC Spirit of Justice Awards means so much to me, especially since I've worked lock and step, hand in hand with so many of our EHC members over the last 9 years that I've served on the City Council. Over these last 9 years, I've had the ability to champion issues, as was mentioned, the EJ element, the environmental justice element, our dog park. We have a first ever dog park in National City. How many dog owners we have out there? And I think even more importantly, working side by side with my colleague and my friend, Councilmember Mona Rios, where's she at? Mona, for transportation issues. They told us to go that way so we can take the group picture, so I'm sure we're going that way. Third generation growing up in National City on the west side, I saw firsthand the pollution and the incompatible uses that were being brought about right next door to my abuela's house, where we have a tar shop, a transmission shop, and an auto body shop right next door. This is what incompatible uses is. And I didn't understand it and what it was until I went off to college at UC San Diego, and I studied what environmental justice was. Now I had a term to apply to it. And today and ever since, I've had the ability to work hard and create a safe and healthy community in National City, not only for my 3 daughters who weren't able to be here today, but who complimented my dress and said, "Mommy, do a twirl," so I did the twirl. I can say I did it. But for future generations who want to live, work, play, and pray in National City, it's what our community deserves. EHC has stood by me and stood up for so many environmental justice issues in National City. Our West Side or Old Town specific plan, access to open space, and our YTOD, our West Side Infill Transit Oriented District, if you wanted to know what YTOD stood for. I would like to ask those organizers, past and present, the promotoras and National City community folks to stand and be recognized. Órale, los de National City, que se paren. ¡Woo! Recibo este reconocimiento con todos ustedes. Yo voto en el concilio, pero ustedes están allí apoyándonos, dirigiéndonos y guiándonos. So, muchísimas gracias, muchachas y compañeros, por estar allí. Mil gracias. Thank you again for this award, and I accept this on behalf of our community, who stands up for justice, isn't afraid to ask the tough questions, and will be there till the very end. Gracias, and thank you very much. Okay. I'm going to put this down. This bothers me. Okay. We'll fix it later. Okay. Our next Spirit Justice awardee needs no introduction, but I will introduce her. Assemblymember Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher has fought for the rights of workers, women, mothers, children, and so many things such as our environment. If you are working for justice, you have worked with Lorena. She's known widely for her efforts to protect and promote workers. Lorena fought for and won an increased minimum wage and paid sick leave, as well as sexual harassment protection, and that's not an easy task, I know that. From the beginning of her career as labor leader, Lorena understood that there's no conflict between protecting the environment and protecting a strong economy. She responded to the continuing crisis of childhood lead poisoning by passing a law requiring public schools to test their drinking water for lead to ensure that it's safe for our children. EHC was proud to work closely with Assemblymember Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher in 2017 to gain passage of AB 805, which reforms SANDAG and MTS. AB 805 completely changed the playing field to promote more public transit throughout our region. And I can definitely testify in the importance of this bill, because now we have new leadership at MTS. I get the great honor to be the new chair of MTS, and I can assure you that we are going to be pushing a real agenda that
pushes public transit that serves all our communities throughout our region. So thank you, Lorena, for that bold leadership. Please join me and welcome my Assembly member, Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, EHC Spirit of Justice Award.
So I guess AB 805 worked, right? They said we had a plan to do a huge power grab by the South Bay. And I said, yes, we do. Because if you know how equity works, we needed 805 and we need much more in order to be at equal standing with the rest of San Diego County. I'm so proud to have worked for, I was trying to remember, Diane, I think it's been 19 years since I've been relying on Diane Takvorian to give me the penultimate advice when it comes to environmental issues, and I appreciate your friendship and your advice throughout these years. And Georgette being the chair of MTS is exactly what we had in mind when we set off to do AB 805, which people said could not be done, and we did it. But I do have to tell one story. It's a little mean, so I felt bad. I was trying to figure out how to say it that wasn't mean. But I think the people in this room will understand because it's all of you. And I've worked so many hours with all of you on these issues, long before I was an assemblywoman. And I used to dread going to MTS. Right? Because you knew nobody cared what I was going to say. Like, I'd go on behalf of taxi workers, I would go on behalf of bus drivers, go on behalf of transit riders, went for youth passes, and you knew, like, the leadership was just going to ignore me at best, say something mean at worst. And so, but we got used to it, and we kept fighting. And so there were a number of MTS and SANDAG board members who maybe don't come from the South Bay, who went to Sacramento to testify against AB 805. And one in particular, she's a city councilwoman, hopefully for not long, in the city of San Diego. And I won't name her name, but a little out of touch, definitely not mine. Her name might be Lori Zapp. But she went up to Sacramento, and then she came back to give a report, and I actually don't remember if this was MTS or SANDAG, and she was complaining, and this is what she said. She goes, so we go up there, and we tell them why this is such a bad idea. This will stop consensus. We'll stop being able to work together, if work together means everybody but the South Bay, and getting things done. She goes, and we testified, and those people in Sacramento, none of them cared. None of them cared. They didn't even listen to us. They didn't care. They just cared what she says because she's powerful. You know how good that felt? That was like the best thing ever. I was like, that is for everybody who was sat at an MTS meeting or a SANDAG meeting and felt totally powerless. For once we had some power, we did the right thing. Power is useless if you don't use it to do good things. We did good things and we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to change the way we look at transit and all environmental justice issues, not just in South San Diego, but all of San Diego County and this entire state of California. Thank you so much for this award. Nothing means more to me. Thank you.
Please welcome EHC's Associate Director of Policy, Carolina Martinez, to present the Environmental Justice Champion Award.
Buenas noches, good evening. I'm super excited to introduce you to one of the coolest people in the EJ movement, Mustafa Santiago Ali. He's one of the founders of the Office of Environmental Justice at the Environmental Protection Agency, where he worked as a senior advisor for 24 years. I met Mustafa about 5 years ago. I should say that as an activist, I was skeptical because of government agencies don't usually, social justice work inside of the structure. You question that. But he taught me otherwise very, very quickly. In a room of 30 EJ advocates from across the country, he gave us a tool that was passed down from his very own grandmother. As a kid, she would have him look at the mirror and tell himself that he was blessed and highly favored. So he had us do the same. If he asked us how we were doing, he had us respond by saying, we're blessed and highly favored. A tool that can help us all young advocates of color talk about resiliency. That is how I was introduced to the Environmental Protection Agency. This moved me and showed me that is exactly people like Mustafa, the movers and shakers that we need in all spaces, inside and outside of government. Mustafa is now the Senior Vice President of Climate and Environmental Justice at the Hip Hop Caucus, a national organization working to do exactly what we're celebrating today, bringing culture and engagement together so that we go out to vote, amongst other things. EHC is very proud to recognize your work, Mustafa, and I'm very honored to present you with this year's Environmental Justice Champion Award. Please help me in welcoming him to the stage, and he will share some words of advice.
Can we give Carolina another round of applause? Gracias, mi familia de justicia ambiental, tu eres mi corazón. I want to thank each and every one of the folks who are here in the room today, and I want to thank Diane, who has been an incredible leader, incredible visionary for the work that we do. I remember when I was a small boy hearing these words, that we find these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When we think about our environmental justice work, we start with that first element of life. And if we don't have that in place, all of the other ones don't matter. Everybody do me a favor, everybody take in a deep breath and let it out. We think about that sort of an action, that autonomic response. But if we don't have clean air, then we can never get to life. Y'all do me a favor, think to yourself, by a show of hands, how many folks in the last 24 hours have taken a drink of fresh water or some beverage? Because I know some of y'all was out last night. Think about that as well. Without having clean water, we can never get to life. So when we talk about life and liberty, liberty is about power. It's about freedom. It's about the ability to be able to frame out your own direction. And if you think about the environmental justice movement, from the very beginning, it has been about being able to frame out our own direction, to be able to address the injustices that have been happening inside of our community, and to move forward in a more positive and progressive way. So when we talk about life and liberty, we're also trying to get to the pursuit of happiness. Environmental justice is a two-sided coin. The injustices are those coal-fired power plants, those incinerators, those landfills, that lead that runs through the pipes in Flint, Michigan, in East Chicago, in Baltimore, and in Washington, D.C., and yes, even here in San Diego. So as we begin to focus on revitalizing our most vulnerable communities, that is the only way that we can get to that pursuit of happiness. So yes, we push back against an administration that is focused on breaking down the basic protections around our air-related laws that are in place, that are trying to break down water-related protections that are in place. And yes, we are also focused on the actions that they are doing to disinvest inside of our communities and to remove wealth from our communities. So we're very focused at this moment, but we understand that we have power. Y'all say power. See, you didn't believe what you just said, so let's try it again. Let's say it again, power. Power. Say it one last time like you actually mean it. Say power. Power. So we have to let folks know that we understand that we have power and that we will be reclaiming that power and that we will utilize our vote. We will make sure that those who do not support our communities, those that do not respect our communities, and those who do not honor the fact that we can help you find a new job if you don't do the job right, that is power. That is what the environmental justice movement is about. It's about us reclaiming our power, helping to frame out a new direction, and to make sure that we are all living out what the American dream is supposed to be about. I'm Mustafa Santiago Ali. I want to thank you for a couple of moments of your time.
Very good.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Joel Tremblay, an Environmental Health Coalition longtime supporter, but an even longer time supporter of the Environmental Health and Justice Campaign.
And I'm Bea Barraza. I'm the chair of the board of the Environmental Health and Justice Campaign. EHJC is a sister organization of the Environmental Health Coalition, but is completely separate and a nonprofit organization focused solely on policy and electoral advocacy. For those who don't know the Environmental Health and Justice Campaign, I'm excited to share with you the incredible work that we do.
So as you may have heard tonight, it's an election year.
Yeah.
And election years is when EHJC is the most active. We work with community members to identify and promote ballot measures and candidates that protect our community's health and the environment. 2016 was a banner year locally when every candidate and every initiative that EHJC worked for was successful. Yeah, give a round of applause. Some of the things you can see up here are up here behind us. We want to make 2018 just as successful, and we need your help, which is why tonight we are pitching you to give to EHJC. Our goal tonight is to raise $20,000 for EHJC's electoral agenda.
With your help, EHJC can win key races on June 5th. Yes, there's going to be a big primary. And for June, the key issues are ensuring democracy in National City by retaining voter-approved term limits, which translates into no on B and yes on C. Go, sister! And saying no to big oil, also known as no on Prop 70.
EHJC isn't waiting until the June election is over to work on issues for November. We already have a full agenda, and it's only going to get bigger. This year, we will be fighting for the election of the progress slate in National City, including Alejandra Sotelo Solis, Mona Rios, and Jose Rodriguez. We will be increasing protections for renters locally and statewide.
Yep.
And we will be making elections fair in the County of San Diego by requiring that all elective offices be decided in November when more people vote. EHJC is collecting signatures for this ballot measure, and you can sign tonight. We want you to sign so that we don't have a board of supervisors that supports President Trump's hateful lawsuits against safe and just and diverse communities.
And there are many more issues and candidates that will be on the November ballot. I know for me, the number of choices on the ballot can be oftentimes a little daunting, and that is why I turn to the EHJC voter guide. And that answers for me the question of what measures and what candidates are supporting the progressive environmental and social justice agenda. You can trust the Environmental Health Justice Campaign voter guide to help you figure it out.
Since President Trump was elected, our values have been under attack. But it's not just President Trump. Nowhere is that more clear than at the Environmental Protection, in quotes, Agency, where Administrator Scott Pruitt has been spending taxpayer money on first-class flights, bulletproof seats, and a $43,000 phone booth. Too often lost in those stories is the real scandal. Regulatory changes that harm our communities, including looser rules on pesticides known to harm our children, and the elimination of the Clean Power Plan that's going to allow pollution of our air and water, and still, as Senator Atkins said, trying to bring back coal. And then there's the county again. So never has it been more clear that electing decision makers who will attend and defend our rights is critical. We can ensure that strong line of defense by supporting EHJC, and we need your contributions to EHJC tonight. The time is now, the elections are just around the corner, and we need your support.
Yes, and one of EHJC's best friends, they have stepped up to support us at this critical time. The American Federation of Teachers have already pledged $5,000 because they truly believe and support the crucial, the crucial work the voter work that the environmental, that we're doing here. And they also lead the Labor Council Environmental Caucus, which helps us to strengthen and the connection between the production of jobs and the environment. Thank you, American Federation of Teachers. Again, our goal is to fundraise tonight, with your help, $20,000 for EHJC. Your support can help get us there. Every pledge to support the Environmental Health Justice Campaign election work, no matter the amount, gets us closer to our goal. Would anyone like to match the American Federation of Teachers' generous donation of $5,000?
All right. Thank you. I think that's Mel Katz.
Oh,
Thank you.
Hello. We're blind here. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, very generous. Yeah.
And thank you for stepping up before we've even told you how to do this.
Yes, we haven't done that yet.
We have a new form tonight. And so while you're thinking about what you can give, we want to tell you how to complete your donation via text using the cell phone that you probably have in your hands taking selfies and things.
Yes.
So the way that we need to donate for you, whatever amount is right, whatever you can give to help EHJC, is to dial the number 56512 and text the word EHJC followed by a space, your pledge amount, a space, and then your name or the name of the organization you're giving on behalf of.
Okay.
So,
Do we have that?
don't think we, so there we go. We have the example up on the screen now. So that's how we're gonna do this. And whatever you can give, get on your phones and please try to give. Bea and I are gonna try to do this right now just to prove that it works.
Right. So essentially, making a pledge is as easy as sending one text message. And there we go.
Now we're coming.
Oh, here we are.
Oh, wow.
So there we go.
And we are already rolling with this.
Yay, yes.
So we want to thank Francis and Lucy and Andy and Bobby and Assemblymember Todd Gloria for $100.
There's me. Yep. Mel and Linda Katz. There we go.
Yeah, Mel and Katz, thank you again. And okay, so these are going to be scrolling through the night. So as you go through and do this, you will see yourself up there, you will see your friends up there. And now that we've got it explained, we already have a great donation from AFT and from Mel and Linda Katz. Thank you so much. And who else is going to be next for us?
Who's up there? We can't.
Okay, we're going to get some. Can somebody over here, some of the EHC staff, come help make a donation here?
Oh, there's hello, Polly. Yeah, here we go. EHJC has been working behind the scenes for our most important elections for over 5 years, but we have never stepped up like this to ask for the much-needed funds. Remember, what we're doing is funding feet on the ground, and that means doing that door-to-door walking, that door-to-door knocking and phone banking and relationship building, and it's costly, but it's important to winning elections. We've heard that here tonight. So what are we up to?
We are already getting up towards $15,000. Thank you to everybody. I see some more names of De La Fuente and Greg Robinson, Esther Herrera, Charlie Copeland, MDM, Jenny, Morgan Justice Black.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Superintendent Cindy Martin, thank you, $250. And Georgette, Council Member Georgette Gomez.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Yay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now we are convinced that our communities vote, and when they vote, we win. So we're counting on you to help make our first real fundraising efforts a success. We're starting with a modest goal tonight of $20,000, and we're almost halfway there. Yay, yeah.
I think we didn't mention Marshall Merrifield. I just saw jetting up there. Thank you so much.
Gloria, there we go, yeah.
So we want to talk, I think we need to explain why people need to give to EHJC as well as to the campaigns and candidates that they're used to giving to.
Well, the campaigns, of course, are very important, and they do focus on the frequent voters. But the Environmental Health and Justice Campaign, in addition to looking at campaigns really is looking at building a movement, building a change in the democracy by transforming all voters to super voters.
So donating to EHJC tonight not only helps us this year, but it's a way of building and helping this year that is going to help us next year and in 2020 and in 2022 and in 2024 and increasing in every election after that. And with over 400 people here tonight, if everyone pledges $25, we can easily get to $20,000. If 25 is too much for you, we understand, and we want you to give whatever you can by text. But if $25 seems small for you, if you can do more, if you can help us build a movement to keep winning elections in San Diego for the next generation, then please get on your phones and make that pledge.
Looks like we're going there. Look, Andy, Bobby, oh. Are we there? Yeah, we look like we're getting.
Yep, we're almost to 15,000, and we want to again thank Melanie Katz for $3,000, and I'm going to mess with Georgina Frenzheim for $300.
Yay,
thank you.
Thank you for your generosity. Yeah, it's perfect, and it looks like Rope is over there trying to figure it out. So we'll just see what he comes.
All right.
Oh, okay, that's already
and
up there.
And thank you, Mona Rios.
Yes. Oh. And Carolina, and because it is, even the smallest amount helps, and it will get us to our goal. Once again, the most important part of all of this is the feet on the ground. It's supporting our community volunteers and our individuals within the community who are going out, making those calls, pounding on the doors, putting their shoe leather where it makes a difference, and turning our communities into super voter communities where everyone votes and everyone has the opportunity to vote and everyone understands the right to vote. And we're going.
So I think we're still going up here.
Yeah.
Closing in on $15,000 or maybe right at it.
That's great. And you all have, I assume, because we can't see, remittance envelopes at your table. And please feel free to fill those out if you want. Wave them in the air, and one of our wonderful staff members will come in and collect them, and we'll honor you.
So does anybody else out there having trouble with the phone or need a remit envelope or anything like that? We need every little bit helps here. Those $25 donations will add up, or $50 or $10 or $5. You know, everything is going to help here. Even $5 is going to put a boot on the ground or put a voice on the phone who's going to contact a voter and give us a better chance of getting people out to make the changes that we need to make. And we just passed $15,000. Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much.
Let's see if we can keep going here for a little while.
Yeah. So, you know, really, when you think about it, a $25 donation is going to be a tremendous investment that you will be making for the June elections that are coming up. Not to mention what is going to be happening in November. We hope that you can see your way clear to help us out here and get those. I love that expression, Joel. Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. I'm starting to love the. I don't know what fluid that is. It's not mercury because it's blue, but it's rising.
Yeah.
It's. I think that's getting up towards $17,000 now.
Well, it's the EHC blue, darling.
It's the EHC blue.
I think. Yeah. Well, this is wonderful. We thank you so much.
I think so. I don't think we've said Ted and Margaret and Flores and Tyler, Randy Van.
Yeah.
These are hard to read from here.
I know.
Matt Cunningham.
Yeah.
Amy and Larry Brunton, thank you. Sandy.
Yeah, it's hard. Greg Robinson, we said that? Yeah.
I think so.
Esther Herrera, $30. That's great. These are.
Anybody we're missing, Franco?
Yeah, come on. We'll be glad to give you a shout out from up here. And really,
I believe that bell is telling us there's some more donations coming through, huh?
What? Roberta Alexandra has given $1,000. Woo! All right, go Roberta. Let's hear it for Roberta. Oh, That's great. And whoever Anonymous is, thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Okay, I think there's a little bit of a lag coming in, so I think we are going to be really close to this $20,000. So please continue to text if you haven't, and remember that you can also give on these remit envelopes. We also want to thank 10-Page Memo for $500, and we are above 17,000 now. So again, you can still donate on the phones. You can still grab a remit envelope and hand it to staffers on your way out. They are happy to help you with either. But otherwise, I think we're going to wrap up for this evening. So thank you, everyone, once again. We hope you had an incredible evening, and this is the end of the program. Please enjoy the coffee and dessert that somebody was looking for. And it's set up in the back area.
Yeah.
Thank you again, and have a lovely evening.
You rock. Okay.